Now, ever since Disney's Animal Kingdom opened over 20 years ago in 1998, there's been one question that many Disney fans have asked, and that is when and where will Disney build the next park at Walt Disney World? So for today, I'm going to give my own personal prediction for when and where that might be. So let's dive into all of that up next.
This video is sponsored by Mickey Travels, a platinum level authorized Disney vacation planner which can take the hassle out of all of your vacation planning. So visit the link in the description box to get your free quote today. Hi there Waltoneers, I'm Jack and this is of course DSNY Newscast, and for today I want to do something a little bit different for this channel. And that's going to be an opinion piece. But to begin with, I feel it's very important to note that this is just my own personal speculation and not based upon rumours or insider information, but instead it's based off logical deductions of what we already know about Walt Disney World. So with that being said, let's start off with the obvious. And the first thing is that I don't think that we should be expecting a fifth park to be built at Walt Disney World anytime soon, as Disney already has 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, and a substantial shopping district that all require a cyclical renovation and enhancement strategy to ensure that guests are compelled to come back to not only see what they already love, but to be intrigued enough to experience something new. And so, as we've seen in recent times, Disney has adopted a 4 or 5 year cycle, focusing on each park in turn, as we can see illustrated in this timeline of the new additions and overhauls of the last 10 years. But the big important thing to note is that a decision to build a completely new park has many positives and negatives, as it's easy to see how a completely new park would provide more tangible and visible value to the resort as a whole, thus meaning that an additional single-day ticket would be offered along with an increase to the park hopper tickets. And in addition to this, an extra park may also lengthen the average stay at Walt Disney World, creating an increase in revenue across multiple divisions of the entire resort. But the big problem with this type of strategy is that much of this can already be achieved by ensuring that all of the 4 existing parks become multiple day experiences, much like Magic Kingdom, through further expansion. However, there is the dilemma that you can only expand so far before the return on investment starts to diminish, as no matter how big a theme park is, I feel that most guests will think that 2 days at each park is enough to cover everything that they want to experience within that time, and that is a hardened mindset that will have to be changed gradually over time. But the other factor is that Disney has seemingly reached the uppermost limit of what they can feasibly charge for admission, at least for a while. So continuing this strategy of expanding the current parks is good for the foreseeable future, as it strengthens the overall destination resort dominance of Walt Disney World within the tourism market. But inevitably, Disney will turn toward the idea of building an entirely new park, which by itself comes with its own set of problems, such as choosing a distinct and unique theme different from what is already offered, then finding compelling intellectual property that is relatively untapped that could be used within that park, and then lastly, the strain that the development and construction of an entirely new park would put on the continued investment within the 4 existing parks, as there is only so much that Walt Disney Imagineering can do at any one time, and there's also a limited number of building contractors in the Orlando area that can work simultaneously on various projects. So the decision behind a 5th park is not as easy as seeing Universal Studios announcing them building a 3rd theme park in Orlando with Epic Universe, and then simply concluding that Disney must build a 5th park to maintain its market dominance. But instead, it's about what offers the best value to the guest, as oftentimes new parks are opened and are very limited in terms of the themed lands available and also the attractions, and are not seen as fully fleshed out full-day experiences. And then we come to the very real issue of how many vacation days the average family that visits Walt Disney World will have, and the possibility of an oversaturation within the marketplace, as building too many parks provides too many things to do in one single trip, thus meaning fewer parks but with more to offer within each park may be a better strategy, as it's more time efficient and logical for a family to experience. However, inevitably one day in the future Disney will expand somewhere within their vast sprawling property at Walt Disney World. So for today I want to give my own personal prediction for where I think it will most likely happen.
As first of all, when talking about future expansion, you have to think about the existing transport system and the overall structure of Walt Disney World Resort, which has always revolved for the most part around World Drive, as Magic Kingdom, Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios is directly accessible from World Drive. And the reason why Animal Kingdom was built further away from the existing parks is because of the noise and light pollution created from the nighttime fireworks shows that would have disrupted the animal behavioural patterns. And so, given the existing transportation infrastructure relies so heavily on World Drive, it's only logical to conclude that if Disney were to expand with a fifth park, then it would have to be accessible from World Drive. So now that brings me to the two areas which I think are most likely. With the first being this section here just above Coronado Springs that would provide the access from World Drive, but there are many reasons why I think that this location is not the most favourable. As number one, the land is completely ungraded and not ready for any type of development. And if you've tracked the construction of the Star Wars Hotel, you'll know the reason why that project will have taken nearly 4 years to complete is because the previously unused land has to be compacted and made stable for construction. And then the second reason working against this location is its proximity to Animal Kingdom, which might limit its nighttime entertainment offerings. And then also nearby is this massive water treatment facility, which may cause some unnecessary reworking of existing vital backstage spaces. So I highly doubt that Disney would want to develop in this area. Even if it is parallel to Epcot, which would be great for the transportation connections, I just feel that it's not the most desirable location for all of those reasons. So that leaves me with my top choice for where I think that Disney could expand in the future, and that is the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex. And this is for a magnitude of reasons. Firstly, the allocation of land is large enough for a new park with the supporting infrastructure that would be required. Its positioning also has direct access to World Drive, and it also has the All-Star Resorts to its left and Pop Century and Art of Animation to its right. And then directly north of this area is Disney's Hollywood Studios, which would all mean that it could easily be connected to the new Disney Skyliner transportation system, either from the Hourglass Lake station or from Disney's Hollywood Studios. But more than that, the land is relatively cleared and ready for some additional grading if it was to be required. But I hear you ask, what about the sports complex that is currently there? It's way too valuable for Disney to close it. And to that I make the argument that yes, the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex is important to Walt Disney World, but the potential value that a fifth park could offer would easily offset any loss in revenue from the closure of Wide World of Sports. And also, given the somewhat tumultuous time that ESPN has had in recent years, and the lukewarm reception that the NBA experience has received at Disney Springs, perhaps Disney might be wanting to stray away from the sports tourism within Walt Disney World, and double down on making Walt Disney World the themed entertainment capital of the world instead. And so the last thing for me to address is the time frame. And despite Universal's Epic Universe announcement earlier this year, I still don't think that Disney will be making an announcement regarding a fifth park anytime soon. But with the Walt Disney Company's 100th anniversary year looming in 2023, maybe that's the earliest that we'll get any sort of big announcement along these lines. But even then, the opening of a fifth park would still be nearly a decade away. However, personally I think that it would be more along the lines of 10 to 20 years away from happening if Disney were to decide to build a fifth park at Walt Disney World. But of course, all of that is just my opinion, and so it's over to you, the Waltoniers. I would like to hear your thoughts and opinions regarding this fifth park debate, whether you agree or disagree with me, and also if Disney were to move forward with building a fifth park at Walt Disney World, what would you want it to be themed to, and what would it also include? And of course, don't forget to put the timestamp for where the hidden Mickey appeared somewhere in this video, along with your suggestion or your comment, to be in with a chance to win one of these official DSNY Newscast enamel pins. And congratulations to this Waltonier here for winning this suggestion from a previous video where we're talking all about the Avengers ride coming to the Avengers campus at Disney California Adventure. And so that's it for today, so be sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel, hit that notification icon so that you always receive an update whenever we release new videos, which are usually on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And also, if you've enjoyed today's video, this opinion piece, be sure to give this video a massive thumbs up as it really does help this channel out. And I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.